these two have a lot of sets played. So this is going to be an absolutely new experience for both of them. And we'll see. This is going to be a battle of wits for who can adapt faster. Because Jerm is going to have such a hard time actually hitting Festive if Festive just decides to crouch.
Yeah,
And just crouch.
Jerm absolutely has his hands full. Because if you've been keeping up with a lot of Festive's recent events, he's had insane runs and insane wins off of people. I remember, well, you remember because you were also there, the most recent Defend the District of this past month.
Third!
Yeah, beating people like Squid Plumber, almost beating Willie, almost beating
to Game 5.
Yeah. Absolutely insane for this man who just keeps continuing to like assert himself as one of DC's best players.
And it's because of players like him and IRLC in this region. We got Gullyhue and JJ at a top level that continue pushing this character. That's actually making us ask the question of like, is Kirby actually a good character? And he's got a lot of really good buttons, but you know who else has some good buttons? Villager. And right now, Jerm is doing a great job of keeping things even, and we have a much different style of Villager in comparison to the one that we saw on stream earlier. In comparison to Dalton, I feel like Dalton is much more by-the-book Villager, like he's going to play out of the corner. And Jerm is just one of those characters who plays how he feels that day, like whatever feels right for the matchup.
That is definitely an accurate description. Like, not to say that Jerm flies by the seat of his pants, but it is definitely how he makes his decisions is purely matchup dependent because of what is thrown at him on the other side. And I think knowing what Kirby is capable of, like, he's cautious but not too cautious because as we saw with the Dalton set, Villager has a lot of tools that can kind of mess opponents up no matter who you are.
Yeah, if you get too impatient, try to approach Villager in a way that's unsafe, you're just gonna eat third. Like you're just gonna get chipped and clipped out over and over again. So you really do have to be careful. And Festive is doing a great job of that as we're playing this corner pressure game very, very safe. We do have to end up finding the stock here, and Festive is kind of getting put in the blender right now. And it's not looking like too much because it's only 10-15% at a time, but Villager is the king of just nickel and diming you.
Yeah.
And whittling you down. And Kirby is on the lighter side of characters as well, so it matters that much more in comparison to a lot of the cast.
Yep. And stop me if you've heard this before, but it's been a little bit of time, and there finally a stock gets taken at the 2.5-minute mark. There are a lot of early on, like in this bracket, a lot of very close and very long sets, which kind of is going to set the tone for the rest of this bracket, and that in and of itself like speaks volumes about the player base that is in attendance today.
Yeah, and great job using that rising nair to get the recovery there. But speaking of what you said, like I actually do love watching long ultimate sets that are close. I don't like watching necessarily a Sonic just go up a stock and all of a sudden start camping and whittling down the time to 7 minutes, but there's not a chance that they're going to come back or whatever. I love watching these long methodical sets where there's always a little bit of hope for the other player to come back. Like they're constantly trading blows. It feels almost like old sword fighting at like a Ren Fair or something.
Yeah. It's like, it's more satisfying if you see like both sides just going absolutely all out, especially if you have like top players. Like, say we have like later in bracket, like if Bacon and OJ Wadler like were to match up against each other, like that is undoubtedly going to Game 5 because of not just them knowing each other and the similarities between Dr. Mario and Mario, but because of how absolutely disgustingly good both of those players are with both their respective characters. Like, Bacon is arguably the best Doc in the entire country, and OJ is up there with among the best Marios in the entire country.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, like, MTBA is absolutely the region of hidden bosses, and these two are like both of them. I saw Trial got us this true stats list for the top players in Virginia, and Festive was like 60th. And I'm like, dude, this guy's getting third at our D tiers, and he's 60th in Virginia.
Yeah.
Now, I disagree with the ranking a little bit, but like, it's still insane to think of, like, there are 60 really good players that are on par with one of the best Kirbys in the country. Like, that's crazy to me. That's why I love this region so much.
We have the best we have the best Wii Fit in the country. We have the best Ridley in the country. It's just we are the storied and historical region we are for a reason.
The best Little Mac in the world.
Yep. Best two if you really think about it. Shout out to Alternus.
Shout out to Tarkator. I'll give it up. He's been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. Back to this set. Still another banger on our hands. Very close last stock between these two. As we said, not surprising.
Yeah, no. I think the best way to guess who's going to win this game is by flipping a coin and then choosing the opposite thing. Like if I flip and it's tails, then heads is going to win. The problem is one's a head with no tail, and the other is just kind of a person. So
yeah,
I guess Villager is tails. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Festive being brave with allowing the shield pressure to come to him, but I guess knowing that Kirby aerials can be very classical. Run up down throw. Hello.
Hey, yeah. I mean, that move has a deceptive amount of startup back here. Not going to
quite
take it off the
does.
side.
Downer you won't.
Oh! Oh! I don't know about that one, Festive. That was kind of scary. We do have the DI in the up throw. 1% separates these players with a minute left to go. Festive now going to start to slow the pace of the game down as we're chipping away just a little bit more.
Up throw again?
But the up throw, that's probably not going to be it. Oh,
it is!
Not the right DI. Jerm not ready. Probably didn't expect that he was just going to go for it outright, especially because it was stale, but Festive.
Yeah.
Shaking it off right there. You see, I can see his heart pounding.
Yeah, like you can feel it. Like they were both at like points where like I can use my rage to my advantage if I can get a certain hit, but like Festive like saw an opportunity and ran with it, similar to the up throw before it. Yeah. Like if it doesn't get the kill, I at least get a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, Kirby up throw isn't exactly as reliable as it was in Smash 4 at being able to kill, but it it still gets the job done from time to time. It's just the power of having a kill throw in like last stock scramble situations. It's so strong. It's such a strong tool to be able to have on a character.
It really is, and the fact that you have that like, especially with how like close quarters Festive has been. Holy parry! It's such a lethal thing to have on the opposing side, and you have to imagine, based on how that game ended, Jerm is kind of shaken a little bit because he'll probably have that again, but he's not worried about that right now because he's doing what Villager does best and just kind of saucing you a little in neutral.
Oh, and yeah, Jerm throwing out the bowling ball, just a little bit of a mix-up there. I think Festive took his foot off the gas for just a second, and Jerm is starting to run away just a little bit. I think this is the biggest differential that I've seen between players thus far in this set. I mean, it was really, really close up until then. And that's exactly the kind of momentum that Jerm needs if he wants to bring it to this game number 3, is try and get this lead and run away with it, because this is what Villager does best, is taking a lead and making it very, very difficult for you to come back.
Yep. And Jerm's doing a really good job of limiting what Kirby can do. Like, I don't think Festive, he's tried, but I don't think he has landed any hit of a down air. Like, plenty of shield pressure, as you saw a few seconds ago, but that is definitely a tool that can be a pretty good combo starter for a lot of Kirby people. But not having that available along with a few other moves is kind of harmful to Festive's attempt to kind of cleanly 2-0 this, but just enough to like get the last part of the up B too and not get the bowling ball, because that was the last part of that fully charged bowling ball. And if that didn't come out the way it did, Festive would have been dead.
I feel like the biggest problem that Festive has at the moment is he's not showing his hand enough, I think. He's not pressuring with downer in a whole lot of capacity. And like, downer's a hard move to hit. It's frame 22. So it's not exactly like the best neutral tool. But I would love to see him try just a little bit more, maybe landing fair, or maybe up tilt more to get anti-airs whenever Jerm is actually making these approaches. I feel like I haven't seen that move hardly at all in this set. And Festive is just kind of jumping around and floating away, and already at 65% in this last stock. I mean, it's almost GG's go next at this point. Bowling Ball not quite going to take it off the side, but the jab is going to put even more damage on. And don't tell me we turn this game around into a 3-stock before we go to game number 3. At least get on the board, Festive. That's what we're hoping. Because it's like we mentioned at the beginning of the set, we want to see a close slobber knocker of a set. We don't want to see someone get bodied. We do manage to get the Tims on him.
Yep.
But still.
Yep. So Honorable not being able to 3-stock. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, little bit of something going on right now. Down tilt not quite going to get the 2-frame. Jerm just barely able to snag the ledge.
Something else that we hadn't seen yet into the set until that down tilt. But Jerm kind of knowing that Festive trying to come back and back throw. That'll work.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Patrick, I'm going jellyfish hunting.
Yep. And oh, I got a stag beetle. It's going in the museum. I'm going to scare Blathers. Woohoo! I believe we are, because game 2 is Battlefield. We might be running it back to a Battlefield of some sorts for game number. No, we're going to Animal Crossing. Let's go.
And City. This is definitely an interesting counter pick because it gives Jerm the space he's looking for, but also you're not going to die as early most of the time. So I feel like the idea behind this is Festive just wants to play more game. He wants to have more time up on the screen and allow himself more opportunities for like Jerm to actually make a mistake and maybe overcommit. I don't know. It may end up coming back to bite him.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to be, no matter which player you are. But similar to game 1, we're starting to see a little bit of back and forth. With the interesting wide open space, oh, here we go. Now we're starting to see some Kirby action that we're used to seeing, including the rapid jab. Kirby has one too.
Yeah, I will say though, Festive did end up clubbing there. Didn't get the full hop with the down air to try and loop it back into a grab or something. And I do like, you know, thinking on the spot and getting what he could off of the down air there, but still can't be too happy with clubbing the execution and probably your biggest opening of the set. Like, Villager is not going to put himself in a position where he's going to let himself get jab locked like that too often. And you really have to make the most of it.
No, absolutely not. And good mash there by Festive. Just got out of the way of firework there.
Jumps straight over that Lloyd rocket once again, and now Jerm having Festive off stage. If we can get this edge guard here, we can be pretty solid and secure, but holding down on that up, try and get him. Nice tech.
God, like tech, and Jerm's able to come back.
Yes, sir.
You do not see that often.
Yep, had enough gas left in the tank, but Festive just barely enough air left in the lungs to be able to make his way up. It's the battle of the 2 helium balloons, and both of them have their feet on the ground right now, which is surprising to me with all of their stocks intact.
Just insane gameplay from these two.
Up throw coming out once more.
Yeah, even though Town has some smaller blast zones, it's the sides that are going to be a little more kill lenient than the top, but Festive has the right idea. He's got a little bit of rage, and Dalton is at a little bit higher percent than he is. Tree there. Oh!
We are 4.5 minutes left on the clock. 2.5 minutes. This is kind of looking like that game number 1 where it was getting down to the wire, but someone has to get the kill eventually. And finally, the forward air barely connecting, but just able to do it for Festive to end up taking the first stock. And after the way that game 2 went, a little surprised that Festive is the one with the lead, but we're here for it absolutely. And Jerm wants to do his best and take it back immediately. The Lloyd rocket almost chasing Kirby down there with him too.
Yeah.
But how did he get the kill? He's crouching a lot and dodging and weaving around those projectiles super well by mixing up like when he fastballs with his double jump. Finally able to take it with the down tilt on the ledge trap. Jerm not too far behind and actually in the lead now with that tree.
Yep. I think now that you mentioned like how it is, Festive probably had this counter pick planned out because we saw a lot more, just in general, a lot more Kirby like combos and whatnot than what we were seeing in the previous couple of games, which meant that he probably had the open space and the occasional platforms in mind when figuring out, like, I know what I need to do. Like, the Battlefield game last game wasn't all bad things considered, but Dalton just had a lot more on the table because of how he moved, and I think Festive recognized that, and he's adapting to that a lot better. But still, both sides are just all of this still, despite all of that, like, this is still anyone's game.
Oh man, Festive not capitalizing off that trip. Still going to get a little bit more of the damage, but yeah, you are absolutely right in saying that this is anyone's game, because one big opportunity for either of these players could spell disaster, and Jerm taking it with the back air off the side, and also with a pretty healthy stock too, 81%. It's higher percent, but it's nothing too crazy. Jerm can certainly run away with this and live for a long time. Festive has to get in there and get a little bit of something. We do get the neutral air off the side. You can get the edge guard here. We can have ourselves an opportunity. These counter hits coming out of the corner, and poorly DI on the back air. Festive coming back just a little bit, and we are on the last stock of the set. Hearts are racing. You can see that both players are absolutely locked in right now.
Yep. Crowd on their feet here in the Union Ballroom.
I can see, too, the crowd is starting to gather.
Yeah, I mentioned.
Around the projector, 0.1% separating them, and Festive ends up taking the lead. We're finally going to see the first up tilt of the set. We get the down air into the forward tilt.
Great mix-up there by Festive, but Jerm's starting to get back on the offensive with that slingshot.
Oh, that bowling ball could have been in off the side, though, and Festive barely enough invincibility to make it through, but the back air on the jump, not quite going to be it. Lloyd rocket to stall it out, and can we make it back to stage? Kirby's going to chase him under the stage. No, not going to find his way, but oh no, not enough helium in the tank, and that birthday party is not one you want to go out on. Unfortunately, the clown popped all the balloons, and Festive moves on to winners round 3.
Jerm absolutely had the right idea, going to the other side of the stage, making Festive retreat back to him because of how Kirby needed to recover, but just unfortunate ending there, but still, what a set.
That was intense. My heart was racing. I felt like I was festive.
I am feeling festive.
I'm feeling festive right now. The spirit of Kirby has been harnessed within us puffball mains, so.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Has every